Brought to you by Podcast City Network. You're listening to The Everett Lee Show. A shot of entertainment to the head. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the entertainment.
If I unmute my mic for just 1 minute, I can actually get through this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Everett Lee Show podcast, brought to you by the Podcast City Network. Here we are once again. Anything goes and happens live. Here we are once again on the Podcast City Network page on Facebook, facebook.com/Podcast City Network. This week, I am not alone again. I have with me the voice of CCE Presents. I don't have McShaft with me to screw me up. He's the voice of CCE Presents, the host of the Chris Carnage Show, Chris Carnage.
Hey, fans.
Damn, Chris. I'm missing McShaft this week.
Well, you should have been here. It's his fault he's not here, but it's all right because you have Chris Carnage.
Oh, yeah. I definitely have Chris Carnage, and I'm happy as hell that I got Chris Carnage, man. What's
Don't
better?
blame you there.
What's that?
Don't blame you there.
I know, man. It's just nuts, man. It is. It's crazy, you know. Just you got my daughter going crazy in the background. I try to tell my wife I'm going live, but she insists, you know, because my daughter's having a good time. So you're gonna hear that periodically through the podcast. You're gonna hear my daughter just going crazy and stuff. I'd be happy too if I got poked and shot today too, man. I mean, yeah. I mean, I talked about it with you today before we started this podcast about it today about, you know, her getting poked with her vaccination shots and everything. It's just really crazy. And she's fine. She's happy. She was miserable as hell today. And then now she is like completely happy and just herself. It's like she's immune, man. She's like Bruce Banner. She's the Hulk.
Just be careful when she starts getting ripped and turning green.
Yeah, I definitely would have to like watch out for that right there if that happens.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely would. But yeah, I mean, she's just having a good time. Wife's like, you know what, just let her play. I'm like, you know what, okay, we'll let her play. But she's winding down. Why she's winding down, we're winding up on this podcast here, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot going on and a lot to talk about for this week. Pulling us up on the phone here on the live stream so I can actually see, you know, what's going on and everything. And something just popped up on my screen here. What was that? I don't know what that was. Got a new microphone stands, which is freaking great, you know.
Can't go wrong with that.
Now, got a couple in. I finally got new ones. McShaft asked me, he's like, when are you going to have these new microphone stands come in? And I said, well, you know what? I ordered them. They came in the other day, and I hooked them up, and they're working perfect. I've tried them both out over this past weekend. I don't know if anyone's caught. On Monday, I released last week's audio episode of The Everett Lee Show on Monday, along with the Imaginarium. They released theirs on Monday. And then Wednesday, I released what I recorded over the weekend, an interview. I haven't done an interview for 2018. This is the first interview of 2018, which was with indie filmmaker, indie producer of Bouncy Boxer Media, Stephanie Davis. And
oh, snap.
Yeah, that went fantastic, man. That did. I knocked out a couple of interviews over the weekend, and that came out on a Wednesday, and I'm sure Podcast City Network blew up, didn't it?
Oh, it definitely did. I went and even checked over on the numbers. Things are just ballooning on up.
I know, it just blew up. And then, of course, next week's going to even blow up more for the fact that we're going to have Thomas Ryan. He's coming back. He came back on to talk about what's going on with Theater of Terror. Remember that? When he came on with Scott?
Definitely.
Yeah, he's coming back on, and next week's ELS Uncut. And it's just great, man. It is. It's just definitely great. And I'll tell you what else is really great, man, for the fact of the matter is that we got a sponsor. Podcast City Network actually has an awesome sponsor. I'm going to pull up the sponsor here because when we broke this last week, was it last week or a couple weeks ago, man?
I think it was last week.
It was last week because when you broke it to me, I about fell down from where I was sitting at because I couldn't believe it. It's finally happening for the network. It definitely is with everything going on. And this right here, if I could pull it up on the thing, not that right there. There's me. Here we go. Right there, ladies and gentlemen, Sports Sanity is now a sponsorship partner with Podcast City Network, man. You need to check out Sports Sanity because they will be producing the merchandise that you will be seeing a lot of the Podcast City Network, man. And what else can they expect from Sports Sanity, Chris?
Oh, man, we're going to have all kinds of great things happening. Between everything from shirts to promo materials, they're going to be filling every need and have everything Podcast City Network and possibly be on to all of our other shows. So if you want to go check out our great sponsor, make sure you go online to sportssanitydeland.com. That's right. They are local to us, which is why we like to promote local business, and we like to bring anybody else to them as well. Great for customers, great for promo items. You want your name on a cup, we put it on a cup. You want it on a pen, they'll put it on a pen. Go check them out.
That's right. You definitely need to check out Sports Sanity right there. They are the partners of Podcast City Network. You definitely got to check them out, man. You definitely do. And there's a lot to talk about, a lot to happening, man. Everything from entertainment to wrestling to even sports. Am I right?
A little bit about sports, not too much tonight, just because we're going to be saving it for the next episode of the Chris Carnage Show.
That's right. So what does Chris Carnage have? Am I jumping ahead of myself, or should we just wait on that?
You know what? We'll give everybody a little bit of a taste. I got some great things lined up for the second episode. If you missed the first episode, we sat down with Camden Cruz of Seven Kingdoms to talk about 7,000 tons of metal. And then we also talked to Derek, the newest host of the Grimlock Show, only on Podcast City Network. So for this next show, a lot of great things. We got an interview with another member of another band who recently got signed to a major record deal. And then we're also going to be covering a little bit of sports, and I have a couple little things up my sleeve that I'm going to see until it comes out.
It's awesome, man. Yeah, we get some big stuff happening and everything. But one of the things I noticed that I want to talk about that's happening is we're going to jump into this first segment here on the Everett Lee Show. We're going to be talking about quite a bit of things happening in entertainment world. I'm pulling up on my computer right here that we could basically talk about. And it's going to be our first segment right here on the Everett Lee Show for tonight. We're talking about the tweeting around. What's going on? I already got wrestling stuff pulled up. Let's get rid of that for later. Oh, man. So, you familiar with a movie called Heathers?
That I am not.
You don't remember watching Heathers from back in the 80s. It had Shannon Doherty from Beverly Hills 90210, and it had Christian Slater in it.
I was born in the late 80s, so you know, most of my things were in the 90s.
Oh. Really? I thought you've heard of a movie called Heathers.
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Oh, really? Because Heathers, they've been talking about having it coming out on I believe it's on Netflix or Hulu, one of the shows, I think it is. It's actually it's coming out on the Paramount Network, man. I didn't even know Paramount Network has a bunch of shows, but apparently Heathers, the reboot TV series, is getting pushed back because it's getting postponed because out of respect of the Florida victim shootings, man. That's affecting a lot of things, man. But that's a whole different... Sure. It is. It is a whole different cat and a whole different story for right now compared to this right here. But they're pushing this back because the reboot is based off the 1988 cult classic film. It's been delayed following the shooting, and a majority of what happened at Parkland High School in Parkland, Florida, at Stoneman Douglas High School, in Parkland, Florida. But according to the Paramount Network, the show is a statistical comedy that deals with many challenging subjects, including gun violence. So I could see why that they've decided to postpone a show like that because of everything going on and stuff. And it's just been crazy with all the media and stuff going nuts with everything about what's happened, and it's affect everything, you know.
For sure.
It has like affected everything, and it just gets me for the fact of the matter is that, you know, that they even came out with this right here. I wasn't expecting it. I heard something about it, and I'm like, nah, they're not going to do anything with Heathers. I thought it was going to be a reboot of a movie, but a TV show? I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Really? But I don't even know if I want to actually watch this, because if it actually does anything, you know, to the fact that it's going to screw up the original, because didn't MTV have that Scream show back on, they had Scream, they turned it into a TV show, and it only ran like a couple seasons and got canceled.
I think even if it ran that long, it was horrible.
Yeah, it was, because I know Wes Craven was an executive producer on the show, though, but it actually didn't even help, because it was a failed start anyway, you know?
For sure.
Yep, for sure. But I'll tell you what, one thing that I am interested in is the documentary that they're going to be coming out with on the late Paul Walker. I don't know.
That one definitely should be. It's very intriguing to me just because of the body of work of what Paul Walker was able to produce it, and then the tragic end is just horrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one thing I'm looking forward to is the Paul Walker documentary, because again, Paramount Network, man, they're coming out with all these shows, and they're coming out with the Paul Walker documentary called I Am Paul Walker, and it's supposed to stream on the Paramount Network platform this summer. It'll be helmed by producer Derek Murphy. There's been a number of retrospect pieces Murray has released in the past few years following the lives of unlikely deaths of beloved public figures such as Heath Ledger, Chris Farley, Bruce Lee, and the upcoming I Am MLK Jr. for Martin Luther King Jr., and is set to debut on the Paramount Network on April 2nd. And from what Deadline is reporting, that it will feature interviews among many of Walker's castmates as well as friends who knew him best, the producers say. The film will explore Walker's prolific film career and also showcase, among other things, the actor's passion for the world's ocean and marine life, and his work to help rebuild Haiti after the devastating earthquake. Paul Walker passed away on November of 2013 at the age of 40 in a car accident. And his organization that he started for his love for ocean wildlife and marine life is carried on by his daughter, Meadow, which I think is fantastic. It is. Are you there?
Yeah, just checking out all kinds of crazy things right now.
I'm looking at you.
Buzzing about a number of things.
I'm looking up at you, and I'm like, Where's my soundboard?
Hear the soundboard.
That should wake you up right there. Wow. I don't know why levels on my soundboard keep dropping every time I talk. They go up and down. There they go again. My computer is possessed, man. I swear, it's freaking possessed. I turned the volume.
Computer.
What?
Time for a new computer.
It is. It is. The ring has possessed my computer. Because if I hit a sound, there it goes. All right, got to go back up. Up.
Damn.
There we go. You hear that, didn't ya?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just messed up, man. I'm like, oh my God, you know. But Paul Walker, do you remember when Paul Walker passed away?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was shocked on that, man, when that happened, when Paul Walker passed away.
You and everybody else.
Yeah. You know, it's like he was in the middle of filming Furious 7 in the middle of that, and thank God they had enough footage, okay? They had enough footage to actually use in the film. I think they had about a little over 50% of footage that he shot before he died. And then they got his brother to come in. Thank God his brother's I think one of his brothers came in, and actually they CGI'd his face on a lot of the scenes and stuff and everything. But
right.
I can tell from the beginning of the movie that was all Paul Walker until about halfway in that movie when it started, you know, when all the action, everything went back to L.A. I could tell that was Paul Walker's brother right there, and the face was CGI and stuff though. But they did a hell of a job with it, and I know it took that movie longer to come out because of his death. They had to postpone production on that and everything. But it still turned out good, still made a lot of money for Universal Studios, and also even the 8th one still did great, even without him. So, you know, the franchise is just going to keep getting faster and furious. But that's pretty much right there what's going around on tweeting around right here. All right, much more to mention except that one little thing I do want to throw out here, and I want to get your take on this real quick. What after Marvel gets done with their Phase 3 by 2020, what's left for Marvel? What the heck is left? You know, with all these movies coming out.
Well, honestly, there's really no telling. You know, there's always so much an expansive universe. They can make a movie out of anything. And you've seen that the propensity of wanting to remake a lot of movies all the time, that eventually I could see them just eventually remaking everything again. And then again. And then again. It's just an endless cash cow as new generations come up to view these epic storylines and characters that were created so long ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd noticed right here, I got this up on Twitter. I'm going to show this on my screen, what I'm looking at here, and let the viewers know. I want to thank everyone that's tuning in tonight. McShaft and Doug. Thank you guys for tuning in on the Everett Lee Show podcast. And what I'm talking about right here, this is off of Twitter right here. They got all these unannounced movies right here. Just all these right here. That's supposed to be coming out in 2019, 2020. Pixar, a Disney live action, Marvel has some stuff here for like, I think August 7th of 2020. Something from 2021, Marvel, just going down. It's like, what the hell they got planned after this? Because there's so much, man, right after this. You know, it's just amazing what they're going to be pulling out of their hats, you know?
Well, that, and when you got a cash cow going, you don't want to give up on it no matter what. So I imagine they're going to try and to explore every crevice, every story, every angle they can to pump out as much as they can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, they got for 2020. Yeah, they got a Marvel. They got 1, 2, 3 movies coming out in 2020 and just beyond. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to keep doing it just like with Disney and Star Wars. They're going to keep tagging on that as much as they can and keep that cash cow flowing as much as they can. Because look, now out of nowhere, they have a Han Solo movie coming out this summer. They're going to have another episodic movie that's going to end up coming out at the end of the year. They're just going to keep going. And after that, they're going to go into the expanded universe because since they cleared canon, now they have so much they can just pull off and warp it to make to their own end. And that's something at the end of the day you can see done with this.
Yeah. All I know is for 2020, what they would have planned would be a Guardians of the Galaxy 3, a Black Panther 2, maybe a Doctor Strange 2 or 3, or a Captain Marvel 2, and a Black Panther 2, and Ant-Man 3. They already have. They can already spin off and also make sequels already. And I think there's more characters in the Marvel Universe that they could spin off of everything they've done in the last 8-10 years. They can actually spin off and make own movies and stuff. I mean, hell, for instance, look at Black Panther. He spun off of freaking Captain America Civil War, you know?
Absolutely. Now, he has one of the highest grossing movies this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, he definitely does, man. It did great. I knew he was going to knock it out of the park, man. It's freaking Black Panther.
Tell you what. Yeah. And when you see things like that happen, that means they're going to take even more changes. Because think about it. What were their actual intentions of making Black Panther? Originally, when they brought that character out, they were probably thinking, oh, let's see if he catches, if he's popular enough or gets enough. Maybe something will happen. And then they took the chance, made a boatload of money. Now that's what you're going to see. Is a lot more spinoffs. Now, I'm not going to be satisfied until I see a full-on Silver Surfer movie. But once we have that, I'll be satisfied.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely would be satisfied with just a Silver Surfer movie because you cannot go wrong with that, man. You know, I mean,
did you read any of those comics?
I'm familiar. I had friends that read them, and I read when Silver Surfer would intertwine with Thor and different characters. I would read that story. I knew the stories going on at the time, but I didn't actually stick to that story. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because a bunch of us, we all talked and stuff. We had one person who just read all Thor, one Spider-Man, one Captain America, or like the Hulk, or Punisher. And every once in a while, those characters would intertwine in someone that was reading that comic. It's like, oh, damn. Punisher's jumping over to Spider-Man. He's like, yeah, man, I know. I've sitting there reading that. He's jumping in this arc for a minute because of the story arc. And then this person and then that person would say, yeah, we were familiar with what was going on, and we didn't really have to read because everyone was communicating with each other, a bunch of us. If that makes sense, you know where I'm coming from.
Oh, yeah.
That's basically what was happening right there. It definitely was. And Doug said, grab a root beer for him. It looks like McShaft and Doug's talking on live stream. I'm sitting here looking at this. McShaft says,
a grand old time.
I need to get tipsy tonight.
Calm down, Doug.
I know. Yeah, come on. Yeah, calm down. Man, I love our fans, man. I love our fans. I definitely do love our fans. And that's pretty much it for the tweeting around segment. But all I got to say is that with our fans and everything, I want to thank everyone that's tuning in tonight to the live stream here of the Everett Lee Show. I want to thank everyone that's listening, will be listening to this audio podcast when it drops on Saturday. The Everett Lee Show audio podcast will be dropping on Saturdays now. Okay. But during the week, you'll see a live stream like this on the Podcast City Network. And I want to thank those tuning in tonight and talking and chatting on the live stream right there. I can see going on, man. There's some good conversation going on, man. I love it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Trying to get in there. Chris Carnage trying to talk to the fans.
Yep, that's awesome, man. You know, we interact with our fans, and one thing fans can really look forward to is what Podcast City Network has, man. I mean, especially with Chris Carnage. I mean, what does Chris Carnage show have that's actually like making people talk about?
Keep it secret, but Chris Carnage has a little giveaway that's going to be happening on one of the next shows.
Oh, really?
So everybody just needs to keep their ears open, eyes too, and see what happens.
Oh, you heard it here on the Everett Lee Show, ladies and gentlemen, what Chris Carnage has just announced. And there's something else that I want to throw out here first on this. Oh, yeah. You must. Okay? You must. I'm telling you right now. You must listen to the Chris Carnage show, because what I know can actually hurt me. What I actually know can hurt me right now, because I just, you know, I've seen things I shouldn't have seen right now, which you will find out on the Chris Carnage show. You definitely have to check out the Chris Carnage show, ladies and gentlemen. And one thing everyone has to check out is the great shows we have on the Podcast City Network. We have the Everett Lee Show. We have this show right here. We have the Chris Carnage show. We have the Grimlock show. Ooh, I like that right there. And we have Imaginarium with Scott and Todd. We have the Super Radio Brothers podcast. And we have Forking Around with Cody. And we have coming Draft Day, which we will get to here in a moment. Or should we just go ahead and mention it?
We might as well go ahead and mention it.
All
so
right.
make sure that you check us out upcoming March 17th for Draft Day at City Limits. It's going to be an amazing time. City Limits is going to be having their St. Patty's Day party event going down with free food during the day. Corned beef, cabbage, $2 pints, of green Bud Light, $3 pints of Guinness. I tell you what, it's going to be a great night. We're going to be there. We're going to go live at 7 o'clock with our to-be-announced special guest. And then at 8 o'clock, they will have an actual bagpiper they're playing from 8 to 9. 9 o'clock, Gunshy will take the stage out back. And it's going to entertain us all the way to 1 a.m. And then the event's going to start winding down. And I tell you what, it's going to be a great time. We're going to be there. We're going to have our merch table to get yourself a Podcast City Network shirt as part of our new agreement with Sports Sanity. So we're going to have a whole run of those there. Get them while they're hot. Our first run, first edition. Oh, man, I tell you, it's going to be a great time. And also, Camden Cruz of Seven Kingdoms CC Presents will be there celebrating his birthday. So
That's
come
right.
down, see some people from Seven Kingdoms. Just saying. So I tell you what, it's going to be a great time. And then if you look a little bit past it, maybe you can't make it. That's okay, because we've already announced for April. On April 20th at City Limits Taproom, we will be holding Draft Day as part of their 420 food and reggae event. They're going to have a band up there. I think I can't remember the name of the band at this point. But I tell you what, it's going to be a great time. Live entertainment. Who was it? The Cracker Jacks. There it is.
Yeah.
I remember real quick. Cracker Jacks Mobile Kitchen
Yeah.
will be out there with a 420 theme menu specifically just for this event. And of course, Draft Day. Podcast City Network will be out there. And we're going to have a great time.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have a great time, man. You definitely have to tune into Camden Cruz Birthday Bash there at City Limits on Draft Day right there at City Limits Tap Room, the official host of Draft Day. And you check out the shows on Podcast City Network, man, right there. You can see, again, Everett Lee Show, ELS Uncut, the Imaginarium with Scott and Todd, the Grimlock Show, Chris Carnage Show, and Super Radio Brothers, and Forking Around with Cody, all on the Podcast City Network. Right there, ladies and gentlemen. Right there. Stay connected with ELS, the Everett Lee Show podcast on the following platforms: Facebook.com/The Everett Lee. Click the like button, click the follow button for the latest notifications. Twitter @TheEverettLeeShow for the latest tweets, the latest podcast links on Twitter. Stay connected with these platforms of the Everett Lee Show podcast.
You're listening to The Everett Lee Show.
Well, you know what? Chris, are you in the mood for some wrestling?
There's a bear poop in the woods.
I don't know, man. Does it? I never stuck around long enough to find out.
Well, neither do I, because the only bears I ever see are show bears. And they'll poop just about anywhere. But you know what? I'm always ready for some wrestling.
Yeah, me too, man. I am. I definitely am. And this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is the in-ring report right here. So let's jump over to that right there, ladies and gentlemen.
1, 2, 3.
I guess I had that on loop.
But you know what? It looks good. I love it.
Yeah, I love that, man. Right there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are for the in-ring report for this week, brought to you by Podcast City Network. Head over to podcastcity.net, the official host of the Everett Lee Show. Check out Podcast City Network over on Facebook. If you're not viewing the live stream right now, facebook.com/Podcast City Network. And send a tweet out to Podcast City Network over on Twitter @PodcastCityNet. Chris, did you catch the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view this past Sunday?
Oh, boy, did I catch that Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Yeah. I tell you what, it was really awesome to start off with the Women's Elimination Chamber match. First time ever breaking another wall for the Women's Revolution. And you know what? It did not disappoint. Very entertaining. But Alexa Bliss did come out to retain the Raw Women's title. And that was very entertaining. But after that, you didn't give very much. I tell you what. The only thing probably good enough on this card after that was Asuka versus Nia Jax. And that nifty little thing, Ronda Rousey came out and did something. So, you know, there's a lot of really mad people about the main event, but we'll get to that in a moment. But let's get back to this Women's Elimination Chamber match. I tell you what, it was amazing. What were your thoughts on it?
Well, my thoughts on the Elimination Chamber, the Women's Elimination Chamber, I thought it was pretty interesting. Psychologically, if you go watch this match, that there was a lot of rivalries in between each other that someone had something going on with each other. And one thing I noticed was the beginning of the match, how Bayley and Sonya Deville, how they did their in-ring work, which I thought was really good. But then when Mandy Rose came in and you had Absolution basically pinning Bayley up against the chain of the chamber and just double teaming and just selling to the crowd. I mean, just responding to the crowd. That's what I love about heels. When a heel gets in there and they give it back to the fans, booing them and stuff, saying, "Oh, look at your hero now." It's, "Oh, Bayley, do you want a hug? Do you want a hug?" I love that.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought it was really, really good how those type of things, it just burned the crowd up and just made them hate them much more. And it did show.
They're doing their job.
Yeah, they're doing their job. I love it when a heel does their job, what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to take off the crowd, which they did, and beat up and double team the bad guy. But then when Sasha Banks came into the picture, things basically even out with the 2-on-2. And Sasha and Bayley been having problems here in the last few weeks, and that led all the way up until the towards the end of the match when Alexa Bliss had to come out. She didn't want to come out. She ran. She tried to run. She had nowhere to run. You know what I mean? What'd you think about that? Her trying to scale up the Elimination Chamber.
Oh, that was pretty crazy. I tell you what, very dangerous. But you know what? She went at it like a pro. But eventually, you always get caught. So inevitably, the risk did not outweigh the reward.
No, it really did. It was just great. And then you had Sasha turn on Bayley there for a minute, and I thought Sasha was going to get the belt. They were going to take the belt off Alexa, put it on Sasha, and we were going to see Sasha, do a heel turn, and we're going to have that feud with her and Bayley had back in the NXT days, which I think no one's really actually on the main roster has seen yet, you know?
Right.
Yeah, they haven't. If they would have utilized Sasha like they did Alexa, if you had Sasha doing what Alexa's doing right now, then it would be one thing, you know? Things would be a lot different. Yeah, things would be a lot different though, but that's not what we got. We got Alexa Bliss retaining. Did you think she was going to retain in this? I had a feeling she did in the back of my mind.
Honestly, when I saw as the match went on that she was going to be the last one in, I kind of had a very good feeling about it because I kind of had a feeling they were going to go like the whole double team route of Sasha and Bayley, you know, trying to team up on Alexa Bliss. But as they always do in these kind of matches, you always see someone betray the other. And I was not surprised though. Sasha Banks with her practically kicking Bayley right off the top of that pod, and I tell you what, it was a hell of a match. Once I saw Alexa was coming out last, I had a feeling she was going to win.
Yeah. I was surprised. I was surprised to see her. Well, actually, no. I said I wasn't. I was surprised actually that she retained. And I love the promo that she cut. You thought she was turning face, and then at the end of it, she flips it heel, man. That's how good she is.
So good.
Yeah, that was. I was buying it too. I bought in. And then I got disappointed in the end, man.
WWE had you right in their hand.
Yeah, they did. They had me right in their hands, and that was it. I was done. That was it. And of course, we've seen the contract signing of Ronda Rousey. We thought that apparently we talked about the possibility of what was going to happen, which is going to build up for Mania, which would be Triple H and Stephanie McMahon connected in some shape or form with Ronda Rousey, but with a partner. It looks like we kind of know right now who that partner may be for Ronda Rousey because the contract signing, man. I mean, how great was that? Kurt Angle.
I tell you what, it was crazy. You know, people were really happy to see Ronda Rousey coming in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is a childhood dream for her. But to see her go and put Triple H through a table, slap Stephanie McMahon, or get slapped by Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah.
And, you know, Kurt Angle selling out Triple H and Stephanie, like, that was so classic.
Yeah.
But we'll see how this formulates. You know, what it's perceived to be at this point will be Triple H and Stephanie versus Rousey and Angle, but we'll see what actually happens as they move forward.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah,
but
definitely will.
I do want to touch on someone that will be affected by the waves of the Ronda Rousey signing, Asuka and Nia Jax.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you saw that match, but that match wasn't that bad.
No.
You know, given how large Nia Jax is versus Asuka, you know, the size differential sometimes can make a match like that a little hard. But, you know, Asuka went out there, they worked the match great, and Asuka still found a way to win and stay undefeated.
Yeah. Yeah, she definitely did, man. She definitely did. She found a way to stay undefeated. And
also kept Nia Jax out of a title match, which means no matter who Asuka decides to wrestle at Mania for the title, it's going to be a singles match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. Well, I lost live stream right there, and apparently it looks like my camera went off right there. Yeah, I have no camera. Oh my goodness. There went my camera. I have no camera.
You're still alive from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, because I reconnected it. You see, that's the thing with this software here. When I connect it and reconnect it, let me try this here. I don't know why it was doing that. Everything's been working out great, you know?
Right.
You know, I'm not gonna. Let's try this here. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, you're still alive, just black screen, but
Yeah.
while you try to work around on that, we're going to talk a little bit more about Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's another match that happened between Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt. Matt Hardy finally pulling out the win after kind of jobbing out Bray Wyatt over the past month or so.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice to see them trying to make Matt Hardy a little bit more legitimate, his character, really trying to push where he's at. Eventually, Jeff Hardy's going to come back. So that can also end up having an impact with the possibility of him coming back as Brother Nero, some type of offshoot of that. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, definitely. Well, since I don't have a camera, I guess the next best thing is gonna be is this right here.
Picture of yourself.
Go. Yeah.
Do it.
Right there. Let me fix this right here. Yeah, the Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy thing, I think they've waited too long on that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. I think they killed it because I can take my sunglasses off now since I don't have a camera on. Yeah, I think actually, we're going radio style here, ladies and gentlemen, which is pretty awesome. I don't mind doing this. It's a podcast. What do you expect? But
audio drives all.
Yes, audio. That's it. Yeah, the thing with Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy, I don't know. I kind of think it ran its course in some ways. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't find it that great anymore because it's just what happened is WWE waited too long. They definitely waited too long on what was going on and what was happening with the Matt Hardy, with the Awoken thing. They didn't jump on it. They should have jumped on it as soon as they could because they would have capitalized. But they had to wait and wait and wait. And then this happened, and now, it's people don't care about it now. They don't. They're not really intrigued with it like they were at the beginning. And
yeah, it doesn't have the attention like it used to.
Yeah, it don't. If they pulled some of the stuff they pulled from TNA and bring that out and bring that into this, that rivalry, it would be amazing, would it not?
You absolutely would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely would be amazing. It definitely would. But, it's just that match. I think I went to the bathroom during that match there. But the men's elimination chamber, I'm going to mention that. The men's elimination chamber, I thought, was interesting because I knew in the back of my head who was going to win the men's elimination thing. We talked about it, man. Did we not talk about it?
We did.
We did. We talked about it. We did not want to and hoped that it wouldn't have been this person, and it was this person. It was Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns won it. He won it.
Yet again.
Braun Strowman, one thing I like is I love how they made Braun Strowman, how they made him strong. They made him really, really good strong. It looks like Doug's wondering what happened.
Sorry, brother.
Yeah. Lost Cam. But yeah, Braun Strowman, they made him look freaking strong, and he eliminated all these people. One thing that really did upset me for the fact is that we had Braun Strowman, okay? He got hit with everyone's finisher in that chamber, and he kicked out of everyone's finisher. He gets speared twice by Roman Reigns, and he loses.
Yeah.
What is wrong with that? Tell me. What?
Vince McMahon, that's what's wrong with that.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently, yeah. That's what's wrong with that right there. Yeah. That's what's wrong right there. I just we knew it was coming. McShaft, well, he's not watching right now. He exploded. I asked him about this, and he just freaking exploded. And we know that on Monday Night Raw wasn't really that great, except for the fact that Ronda Rousey sounded better on the mic than what she did on Sunday. She did. She sounded,
absolutely.
Yeah, she sounded so much better. She did. She sounded more confident and more of who she is. The only thing I didn't like about
in the character finally.
What's that?
Like she kind of just dropped in the character finally.
Yeah. Yeah, she finally dropped in the character. Now the one thing about Ronda Rousey is that on Monday, the segment I thought went pretty good, except at the end when Triple H knocked out Kurt. So we know Kurt Angle is going to be Ronda Rousey's partner for WrestleMania. You know? But
I bet you they're going to turn this almost into like a mentorship too, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
Where Kurt Angle now is going to be kind of like watching over Ronda Rousey.
Yeah. That's basically what. Hey, you nailed it right there.
I talked about to you earlier about happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. About.
Because my idea is that since Brock Lesnar I feel is not going to be returning after WrestleMania, that
yes,
Ronda Rousey could possibly be becoming a Paul Heyman.
Yeah, a Paul Heyman girl. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. She could become a Paul Heyman girl. And yeah, Brock Lesnar, I have that same feeling that he's not going to be coming back after WrestleMania. He definitely is not going to. And we know Roman Reigns is going to go after Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania for the Universal title. Now, John Cena lost his shot at having a shot at Brock Lesnar and his Universal title on the Raw brand.
Well, like that ended up mattering.
Yeah. And then he said on Raw some kind of, he did the call out, WrestleMania challenge for Undertaker, but that's not going to happen because he don't make the matches. Okay? Let that linger right there. Okay? And then he brought up the point, since I'm a free agent, I'm going to SmackDown. So he goes to SmackDown. He's over there on Tuesday night. He wrestles in the main event against AJ Styles. If he wins, he gets put into which was a 5-way. Now it's going to be a 6-man challenge for the WWE title. Let's hope to God AJ walks out of there with the championship and we get to see the match that everyone wants to see. Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles for the WWE title. Okay? Cena, he ain't going to win. Okay? He ain't going to win. And we know Taker's going to come after him. Taker is definitely going to come after Cena right after Fastlane. They're going to build on that right there. They got 2 weeks to build on it. They're going to build on it. It's going to happen. Okay? SmackDown, the New Day and the Usos reviving their rivalry. That's like the best thing on SmackDown right there is the Usos and, New Day. There ain't really no tag teams except the Harper and Rowan. The, Bulgin, or what the hell are they called? Bludgeon Brothers. Bludgeon Brothers. Yeah, that's it. The Bludgeon Brothers are the only guys that can step up and take on a group like the Usos and the New Day because they're so dominant. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, they definitely could. But, going into the next pay-per-view before Mania's Fastlane, That looks. I mean, the only two matches I see is I want to see if AJ Styles is going to walk out of there with the WWE title and the tag team title with the Usos and New Day. I could watch that again and again because they make each other look good.
True. But let's talk about the main thing about Elimination Chamber, though, that I feel needs to be pointed out with the one person nobody wanted to get over getting over.
Okay.
Why in the hell are we having Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania?
That's a good question. And I think the answer lies within Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon has a thing for the big guys, And I don't know if you know this or not, but Jonathan Coachman basically put out a tweet and basically went after everyone who's been hating on Roman Reigns, man. He put out a tweet and it's basically...
Yeah, but we're getting a rematch of a WrestleMania match nobody wanted 3 years ago while there's better talent that are buried on the card.
Yeah.
Because you also look at it, John Cena turned around on SmackDown this week and ended up getting himself to be able to actually into a match to be able to get a title shot.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon is all over this when the reins need to be fully given to Triple H so he can make this a better product.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he tried to with Seth Rollins, with Finn Balor, with Bray Wyatt. But we get Vince McMahon's version of WWE a while longer.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely do. We definitely do. And no one wants to see this. No one does. And it gets me. And I think there we go. Well, no, it's kind of messed up there. I got a camera now. Yeah, it's just no one wants to see it. Nobody wants to see that happening. Okay. There we go. What am I doing here? Oh, I'm about to take off my thing. There we go. Hey, everybody. I'm back. I got a camera.
Boom, shakalaka.
I know it's flickering because I actually turned on this camera after I turned everything on. So it's going to flicker there just a little bit. If you could just bear with it, that's fine. I got a camera. Yay. All right. But yeah, man. After the way I look at things after WrestleMania, okay, it's more of a reset button. It's like press the reset button, okay?
Right.
And after they press the reset button, you're going to see new stories and new stuff happening after Mania. And one of the things that you're definitely going to see after Mania, okay, is a change of direction with everything going on because we know who's not driving the horse behind WWE. And it's not Vince McMahon. We know who that is, right, Chris?
All right.
Yeah, it's Triple H.
The one and only.
Yeah. What do you think about that? What do you think he's going to bring to...
Honestly, I think he's actually going to show what fans want these days. Vince McMahon tries to hold on to a standard that has long died. The indie scene has produced a great amount of talent in wrestling and moments in so many facets, whether you look at events with PWG, New Japan, ROH, these facets of entertainment that brings a whole new medium of wrestling that is not featured until recently thanks to Triple H. And has only become featured on WWE programming just at the push of Triple H, because Vince McMahon never wanted things like 205 Live. He didn't want a cruiserweight tournament. He didn't want to do a women's tournament. But now they've been able to evolve the product to a point where now they're being able to draw new fans and be able to bring a new take on wrestling while still somewhat showing the old school manner of showmanship.
Damn. I dropped my camera. That's what that noise was, man. Might as well just set the camera right there. Yeah, you're definitely right about that because no one wanted to see that happening. You know what I mean? Vince didn't want that to happen. And it happened because Triple H knows the product. He knows what people want. You know? That's what he does. He knows that people want to see that type of wrestling. He knows what's going on in the wrestling world. He knows who's hot and who's not, and he wants them. You know, it's like, you are going to come work for me. You're going to come work for WWE one day. And when you do, you're going to be more of a bigger star than what you are now, because that's just the way he looks at it, you know?
Yeah, and look at who they've been able to pull. You know, they have so much power with having been able to pull talents like Ronda Rousey and whatnot, that it's just, yes, they have so much star power that they can sell. Mm-hmm. And it's like, if you come here, you're going to mix it up with the best, not only in wrestling, but in entertainment as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you definitely are, man. You definitely are. You're going to make a bigger name than what you are and stuff. I mean, now, you're big now, but you're going to be bigger.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's definitely what's going to happen, though. But I don't know if you seen or looked at what Coach. Let's see, there he is. The tweet he put out, because it's funny in a lot of ways, and in other ways, it's like, really, you're gonna sit back and say that, because I don't know, man. It's, if I can find it here, I'm strolling through. If it didn't get deleted, because I'm like,
it could have,
because it might have got deleted. Basically what happened is, he basically said that everyone needs to quit looking at and reading social media like it's the Washington Post. You should sit back and basically enjoy the product and not complain. He's basically blaming the fans, okay, us, for the way the product is right now. And it's like, no, the way the product is because of you. You guys. You're not giving us a good product. And I'd love to see WWE actually, get to a point to where the product is actually good. You know what I mean? And just basically just, evolve, and WWE becoming more successful, though. But that's just me, man. That's just me. So, is there anything else that we need to talk about in the in-ring report?
Not that I can think of.
I can't think of anything either. I wish I could find that damn tweet, man, because because I'm on Twitter right now. It probably did get deleted, because I couldn't I don't know. Well, I cannot find it. It probably did get defeated. Yep. That's it for the in-ring report. Is there anything else that we want to add to the podcast? Anything you want to add?
Other than the fact that everybody needs to make sure that they come out for draft day, March 17th at City Limits Tap Room. The St. Patty's Day party for City Limits will be running from noon to 2 a.m. We'll be setting up there probably about 2 or 3. But we're going to start having our live broadcast at 7 with our to be announced live special guest. So make sure you come out. Like we said, free food during the day with corned beef and cabbage, $2 pints, green Bud Light, $3 pints of Guinness, live entertainment by a bagpiper and gun shy, and of course, podcast network. Make sure everybody comes.
That's right, man. And also the same day, we got Camden Cruz's birthday bash, man. March 17th. Yes, March 17th at City Limits Tap Room the same night. Mr. Birthday Boy there, Mr. America. Join us for that right there, ladies and gentlemen. Please join us for that. And I think we may have a guest or show up from the Podcast City Network. I haven't heard back yet. Have you?
Not yet, but we'll get everything in concrete and then let everybody know once we have it confirmed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And this is all brought to you by the Podcast City Network, which bringing you the latest in independent podcasting featuring the Everett Lee Show, Imaginarium with Todd and Scott, the Grimlock Show, Draft Day, hosted by City Limits Tap Room, the Chris Carnage Show, Super Radio Brothers, ELS Uncut, and more at podcastcity.net. You can listen to audio podcasts from all these great shows, these great podcasts on iTunes. Give a star rating and a comment and let these shows know how they're doing. Libsyn. You can head over to Libsyn and find your favorite podcast from the Podcast City Network on Libsyn. Make sure you subscribe and follow them on there as well. And SoundCloud. Head over to soundcloud.com and find your favorite Podcast City Network show on that platform. And Stitcher Radio. Download the apps of SoundCloud and Stitcher Radio on your smartphone and tablet. And follow Podcast City Network on Facebook at facebook.com/Podcast City Network. And then you can follow Podcast City Network over on Twitter at Podcast City Net. And I think that's it, man, for the Everett Lee Show.
I think it is.
It is. It is. I do want to mention that, ladies and gentlemen, that I have broke a milestone with this episode. I have broke a milestone. My former show. Let me switch this camera here because this is important. It's important to me.
Important, must switch camera.
Yes. I got to look into the camera. 3 years ago, 2014, when I started Everett's Hangout podcast, I ran that show all the way up to 73 episodes. Right now, the Everett Lee Show has outlived and outrun Everett's Hangout podcast. It is now, with this podcast, this one right here you're listening and viewing, this is episode 74.
Very
74.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I have outrun my previous podcast. It's in the dust, I think. Or actually, not in the dust. Just I outran it with this one right here. I went one episode further with this podcast than the first podcast I started out with 4 years. This will be year 4. Oh, April. Dude, April will be 4 years.
Very nice.
4 years, man. April of this year will be 4 years since I started podcasting back in 2014 with Everett's Hangout. And then I did the short off run of Off the Corner, which only lasted 10 episodes. Only 8 of those episodes was released. The other 2 episodes I never released. And the bad thing about that is I lost them when I was transferring everything over from my laptop over to this PC. I lost all those episodes. Yep.
Well, it happens. But you know what? Got a lot of good things going now because now you have the Everett Lee Show on the Podcast City Network.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it, man. 74 in, man, after this episode right here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so happy about it. I've basically broken a milestone tonight with this live stream and this podcast, which you'll be able to hear the audio version of this podcast this Saturday when it drops. The Everett Lee Show audio podcast drops on Saturday. And you can listen to Everett Lee Show on Libsyn. Head over to everettleeshow.libsyn.com. You can check out Everett Lee Show on Stitcher Radio. Download that app for your smartphone and tablet. And also, Everett Lee Show's on iTunes. Give me a star rating and a review or a comment on iTunes. Check out the YouTube channel of Everett Lee Show on YouTube. And the interview sections from the Everett Lee Show or ELS Uncut on dailymotion.com. Everett Lee Show. Subscribe to those following right there. And anything else you want to throw out there while we close?
Oh, definitely. You want to make sure that you keep up to date with Chris Carnage by going to Facebook/Chris Carnage Official or on Twitter @Planet Carnage. You can also go ahead and go on over to podcastcity.net, check out the latest episode of the Chris Carnage Show, and keep your eyes glued as episode 2 will be dropping within the next couple of days.
That's right. Yeah, you need to check out Chris Carnage right there on the Podcast City Network. There I am. And that's it for this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for viewing and listening and watching. And let's hit that outro music. That's it. We are jamming out of here, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank everyone who tuned in on the live stream and participated on the chat right there. Thank you so much. I am Everett Lee, and he is Chris Carnage. That's it. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week on The Everett Lee Show.